Good morning, everybody. I know you're looking at the title and it's biggest news in years. Well, it was an exciting day, and happy Wednesday to you.
Happy
A
Wednesday.
wonderful hump day, August 8th, 2018. And you know what, Missy Jen? In Chinese, and remember, Rosie Girl had 5 years living in the bowels of China there. Eight is the luckiest number in Chinese, and consider today 882018. Three eights in the day today. So triple
The
happiness
Triple Eight.
to all of you. Well, I'm happy to report today that sometimes things do go well and sometimes justice is served on YouTube. As some of you may know, and some of you may not, because basically, well, I'm gonna just say my Rosie O'Kelly channel was reinstated. All the strikes were removed, and the channel went off of terminated, suspended status to in good standing status. And I'm going to say, Missy Jen, this was the fifth time that this channel, and Missy Jen's lived
Rosie
through a few
Girl
of them.
has done it again.
This is the fifth time, and to my knowledge, there's no one on YouTube that's ever even come close to having a channel restored 5 different times. And I'll be talking a little bit about that in the weeks ahead and how you can get justice on YouTube like I did. Yes, it takes a little bit of patience, it takes a little bit of persistence, but if you feel like that you were in the right, well, then ultimately you got to believe that justice will prevail. Now, I'm not going to get into all the whys and wherefores of the termination in May. Suffice to say that I received 3 strikes in very rapid order.
Yeah.
And part of the reason was that, YouTube has vastly expanded their employee base. So they now have people overseas that are reviewing things. And a lot of times, maybe the cultural differences, maybe the teachings or the philosophy of YouTube or the standards of YouTube take a little while to propagate out to people around the world. That we need to have an even application of when we do things like strike people and things like that. So thankfully, I'd like to think due to a lot of my efforts over the next 3 months, which I'll be describing, and then that means a lot of communications back and forth with YouTube. Not something I chose to get into on YouTube as an ongoing basis, but rather, Missy Jan, than just be terminated, I chose to try to do something positive out of that. As you saw, I put a lot of effort and a big
Yeah.
campaign into not just trying to. My thing became secondary, the restoration of my channel, because I have the Rosie Murphy channel, and it's a lot of fun. We just picked up, and in the 3 months that the O'Kelly channel was gone, the Murphy channel doubled in size. And between Missy
Yeah.
Jen's channel,
It
well,
took
between
off.
the 3 channels that we have about 25,000 subs. Not that that's our main focus. Our focus is to have FUN and not to get FUCED, okay, on YouTube, and that is the thing. So many of you are new to the Rosie O'Kelly channel because it was just restored. And I want to put a link down below, and you're going to find people always ask me on this channel, and Missy Jen, there's been, I don't know, 1,500 people have come on in the last 3 months or so on the channel. It's gone up quite significantly. But a lot of people ask about what about prior stuff on years and stuff like that. The Rosie O'Kelly channel is loaded with almost 6,000 videos
Yes.
from the
Goes
earliest
back
trips
years.
in
5 years.
2013. Janet and the boss. A lot of people wonder,
5 or 6
yeah,
years.
early stuff with Missy Jen, our first travels, my first travels out to see Jen, our first meeting in Missouri and our Christmas together out there. Missy Jen's move to California. All that stuff is on the Rosie O'Kelly channel. all the moonshining, tremendous body of moonshining videos. One video in particular, from grains to glass, has it's a big mover on YouTube, but it shows the whole process of moonshine. Our travel, our epic 7,637-mile trip that I took with Missy Jen, covering 17 days and 7,637 miles. Everything from meeting Clayton and Richard in Louisiana to seeing Jimmy Swaggart and meeting Jimmy Swaggart and shaking his hand and sitting in on the service. Just epic adventures, meeting Debbie Lynn, meeting
Just
T.R.
so
Prepper.
much
There's just so much that's covered on that. Metal detecting, the guns, restoration projects of renovations of gutting the bathroom and turning it into a roll-in shower. So if Missy Jen needed that in the future, she wouldn't have to have a bathtub to get it. The restoration of the Shine Shack and turning that into an in-law unit, and all the big projects we've done here. Missy Jen, how many audio restoration? 100 or so between the vintage audio listening experiences.
So many different topics.
It is the ultimate variety channel. Travel, RVing,
of videos.
how many RV adventures and things.
So yeah, you can see the yellow submarine, the GMC motor coach. And you can see the Little Rascal too, the 40 corner line.
So if I've done an effective job on that sales, on that, if I've done effective sales work, click the link below in the description box, and give yourself a treat and subscribe to the Rosie O'Kelly channel, because you will see a whirlwind. You'll see amazing content of baking, naughty nighty baking, all that kind of stuff. So. You know, the bottom line is this. Of course, I'm happy to be back on the Rosie O'Kelly channel, but the even bigger bottom line is when you know the limitations of what you can and cannot do on YouTube, then no matter what happens to you, ultimately, you got to believe that justice will prevail. In other words, if you're a good person, and at the end of all that, somebody at YouTube looks at that and says, hey, they're a content creator. They might have had a nip slip. It might have happened an unintentional thing like that. Well, that's a totally different story, and they'll weigh that out and make the decision that this is worthwhile having. Now, a lot of people relish the fact that the channel went down, but remember, Rosie O'Kelly was never a person to be out there and cause harm to people, or be out there and belittle people, or do parodies that would bring shame to people. Everything that Missy Jen and I tried to do on YouTube, besides, you know, doing some stupid things about, you know, over supporting people that didn't deserve support and stuff like that. But the bottom line is everything was done in a vein of being positive.
Always
and being
positive. Whether it's funny stuff or it's entertaining. In an entertaining sense, or it's in an educational sense.
Educational, and that's a little bit of sexy teasing. That's not the worst thing in the world, where our news headlines in the world today are all about stuff being blown to pieces and civil wars raging here and there.
Yeah.
It's not so bad to kick back and enjoy a little bit of, I think, beauty in the world. It's not everybody's cup of tea, but it's my cup of tea, and it's something that I enjoy doing. And I want to thank YouTube for all the work that I've engaged in with you for the last 3 months, the intensive back and forth about things that can make things that can possibly make YouTube better, and ways to deal with communities that get infested sometimes with people that have, what would I say, negative, you know, they have a negative outlook on life, and they enjoy it when people are miserable. Well, if I ever thought I had to spend a day being that kind of person, I would just shut everything down and just call it a day. And, you know, remember, at the end of the day, it's a video sharing platform. Share your life. And I don't think anybody's ever done more in 5.5 years to share more of their life on YouTube than I have. And this gives me the confidence to keep moving forward and doing just that, with more adventures ahead, with better videography, both on the Rosie Murphy channel here and on the Rosie O'Kelly channel, and certainly on the Jen and Rosie Reality TV. And if you haven't seen it, I will put that link below. You can check out Missy Jen's thoughts on Reno and the changes. Am I excited to be back? Oh, yes. Subscribe to the Rosie O'Kelly channel down below, and make sure you're also subscribed to Jen Rosie Reality TV. It is great to be back. Okay. Cousin Murphy signing off today. Make sure to check out O'Kelly. Love you guys, and have a wonderful Wednesday. You know I will.